When the traveler met Sandrone at the Experimental Design Bureau for a real talk at the end of the fourth act of Not Cry, she talked a lot about everything that happened with Alan and his friends in Fontaine, especially how they wanted to prevent the prophecy. And while there are many things that can be discussed about that whole situation, what struck me wasn't anything deep like this, but a simple line.
The past is my favorite. If nothing else, it's already set in stone, so I don't have to rack my brains trying to figure it all out.
That line sent alarm bells in my mind immediately, simply because I had the opportunity to learn how to do a bit of historical research. And let me tell you, Sandrone is completely wrong. Set in stone, yeah, right. You have to rack your brains a lot. I still have words like triangulation stuck in my mind. And no, you don't need to understand these things to understand this video. Suffice it to say that to understand what really happened in history, you need to collect a lot of pieces, then decide how credible they are, and then try to fit them to make a picture that you don't even know what it should look like. Basically, the past is something that we cannot observe ourselves. So we always see only a mirror image and try to understand it as best as we can. But then again, that is about the real world. We talk fantasy here. What about Tevat? It has its own rules, right? So technically, Sandrone could be correct after all. Let's consider Tevat then. The most important rule here will be that Irminsul collects all information about Tevat, including what has happened in the past, or in other words, its history. There you go! The real world sucks, Tevat rules, and Sandrone is right. But wait, we've known that the information in Irminsul can be changed a long time ago because of the Wanderer. He deleted himself from history, making everyone who is native to Tevat forget him. And what is interesting is that what really happened in the past in Tevat didn't actually change. The events that took place still took place, and the Wanderer was still created because, well, he still exists. What changed was truly the recorded history, not the reality of the past. Or was it? The Wanderer changed as well, not only his personality or memories, but his appearance as well. Not to mention that he literally disappeared and then reappeared again. In other words, the reality of Tevat changed just a tiny little bit so that the history recorded in Irminsul could reflect it. Now add to that the last Archon quests with the Hyperboreans in Not Cry. A big chunk of it was Durin literally trying to change the past, and again, the end result didn't change. Yet there was a small change overall. He, Albedo, and the Wanderer managed to actually talk with Rasmaspes, the man they were trying to save. For Alice, that exchange alone is a variable, a thing in Tevat's storyline that shouldn't have happened. But I'd go even further. The fact that Rasmaspes realized that he was repeating his own life again and again, that is an even bigger change. Because that means that Rasmaspes actually went through all these repetitions. Durin practically got him into a samsara, making him go through the same part of his history over and over again, and that is now part of Rasmaspes' storyline or history. He's not the same as he was before, and yes, he still dies almost immediately after that happens to him, so what he knows and what he experiences won't really matter in the grand scheme of Tevat's history, but I bet it sure matters to Rasmaspes himself. So, Tevat's history, both the one that actually happened and the one that is recorded, can be changed. This makes me believe that Sandrone is up for a very rude awakening. Why does she say that line about history? It is possible that she simply doesn't know about the limits of Irminsul. After all, only a few characters know about the things I spoke about here. And yet, I can't not be suspicious. There was no reason for her to tell us this line. She could just talk about Renee and Elaine and the others without mentioning anything about time. Now, we still don't know much about her, but she was probably created by Alan, and if she was, I wonder how much of her memories are actually memories that she lived through, and how much are just a history module put there by Alan. Has she even spoken to him in reality? Or does she remember that she has done so because it's written in her code? And how will that affect the story next time? Sandrone will be there for Columbina, and Columbina might have fallen through time. Will Sandrone just find out that she's wrong and be all angry about it? Or will she realize that a big chunk of her history, the life she thought she had lived through, is actually a fabrication? Finally, I know there are already many who think that Sandrone will perish in the next Archon quest, but I feel that it wouldn't be exactly that. Instead, she'd probably be instrumental in sorting out the timeline, and if she's not lucky, she might lose herself within it. Anyway, I'd love to hear what you all think about this, and see you next time. Bye bye!